Hi guys, we're continuing talking about how to reprogram the mind. And yesterday I was talking to somebody and he said that I'd told him something about organizing your thoughts, and he was very curious about that because he was, he thought he'd organized his activities somewhat, but he said as far as organized thinking he goes, he said he kept coming up with new ideas and he put stuff on the back burner, and then some stuff would come up, and then he'd pull those thoughts back. But he was really curious about what I meant by organizing your thoughts, and so there's many different ways that we could talk about that. But in terms of what do you want out of life, what do you want your life to look like? So before we get in all of these different ways that we can organize our thoughts, I'll treat some of those things in different videos. But right now I want to talk about setting goals, and that really means prioritizing. So setting goals. When I used to, I studied under the Proctor Gallagher Institute years ago, and Bob Proctor said that there are three types of goals. Now, of course, we can divide all of that into short-term goals and long-term goals, but he was talking about life goals, and he said that we call these A-type goals, B-type goals, and C-type goals. The A-type goals being the things that you already know that you can do. It's like, I want to go back to college. Well, you already know how to register for college. I already know how to take classes. You already know how to do that. And that's not a fine goal. If you want to do that, do that. But that's not going to be the thing that really propels you forward in life. It may be part of the steps, part of the plan, but that's not the thing. Then there might be B-type goals. B-type goals are these, they're big things, but you've seen other people do it. And you suspect that if I create a plan, if I do everything right and everything lines up perfect, I think I can accomplish that goal. And that might be a fine goal too. But it's kind of, like I said, these are things that you've already seen people do. You know that it's possible. C-type goals are bigger. They are bigger hopes and dreams that not only have you not done them, there's a possibility you might not have seen anybody else do this. These are the types of things that not only propel your life forward, they propel society forward. And you can argue, all you want about, technology is the devil, and the internet, and all this, AI is the beast, and tools are tools. They are amoral. Money, bricks, they're amoral. They are tools to be used. You can use a brick to build a house. You can use a brick to smash a window. You can use money to provide for your family and leave an inheritance for your children's children, or you can use money to exploit people. These tools are amoral. And so the goals that you have is maybe to invent something new, to create something new. And you may pause and you may say, oh, but if I do that, then maybe people will use it for the wrong reasons. And I understand. But this is not about them. This is about you. This is about you having something to say, and like Jonah being sent to Nineveh, he didn't want to do it, and he suffered for it because he had something to say and he didn't want to say it. And I bet you've got hopes and dreams. You've got goals. You've got things that you probably let go of when you were young because somebody talked you out of it. Somebody said, oh, that's not going to happen. You can't do that. You don't have the right education. You don't have the right certifications. You don't have this or that or whatever. And so it holds you back. Now, you probably got that programming into you when you were very young, when you didn't have the ability to combat it. So now that you're an adult and you're able to contemplate these things on a mature adult level, you're still going to have those things in your subconscious telling you no, and so you're going to feel resistance. And so just tell those parts, just wait, just watch, look at what we're going to do. So A-type goals, B-type goals, C-type goals. The C-type goals are the goals that you have that that are so big that the only way you could accomplish this is because God helped. These goals are so big that they're going to pull things out of you that you didn't know you had. And that's where real personal growth comes from. And in the meantime, you might have goals. Well, I want to heal from these traumas. I want to let go of these substance dependency issues. I want to let go of these, dependent relationship issues. I want to set boundaries. Good. Those are all great things. But have something bigger planned. So if you're going to have something to look forward to, create that something to look forward to. I'll say, quote Bob Proctor again. He says that everyone should have at least 2 big, worthy goals, and one of those goals should be a professional goal. It's where you make your income. What they say: if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. The other goal should be a hobby, something that makes life worth living for you. So if your occupation is not doing anything other than paying the bills and draining your spirit day by day, then have something that you do that makes life worth living. Whether it's travel in the world or stamp collecting, whatever it is, it's the thing that is meaningful and important to you. And if you can make those 2 things, compatible, they absolutely cannot contradict each other. You can't, want your career to be in Southern California and your hobby to be in Dubai. Those things, they have to at least not conflict. If they can complement each other, so much the better. So later in another video, and we'll talk more about prioritizing and budgeting and scheduling and all those types of things that we organize our thoughts. But in the meantime, be thinking about what you want your goals to be. And again, Bob Proctor says you write down on a goal card. Get yourself a note card, like those kitchen old recipe cards, and write down a couple of your goals. After you've formulated them and you get them solid, and write them in this form. Something like, you can put it in your own words if you like, but put it in something like this form. I am so happy and grateful now that, ellipses, ... I am so happy and grateful now that, and give yourself a time limit. Give yourself a specific date and a specific, whether it's an amount of money, a quality, some things may be short-term goals, like I need this amount of cash, and so you put it in your mind. I am so happy and grateful now that I have achieved this goal by this date. And you look at that card every day. You pull it out every time you get a chance, and you just say to yourself, I am so happy and grateful now that, because what you're doing is you're reprogramming your mind. You're reprogramming your subconscious to accept this new reality that you have consciously chosen. And your physical body has no alternative but to get up and do whatever your new subconscious content is programmed for. And what is required is an emotional commitment to the repetition of a new idea to the exclusion of the previous idea. So that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching till the end. Until next time, please have a wonderful rest of your day and be blessed.